Hello, I'm TJ Teeling from Source Allies, and I'm here to show you how you can integrate your request intake system with Codebeamer using a Google form as my example. So to start out, I'll show you around a little bit in Codebeamer where I'm going to be doing all of this. So I'll be using this change requests tracker, which is actually just a built-in, out-of-the-box tracker that comes with Codebeamer. And I have one item already in it called the Associate Stuff With Me item, which I've created for a purpose that you'll get to see in a little bit. But if I wanted to create a new one, I could just go up here, create some new change request, add a description, and hit the save button. So yeah, as you can see, created all this. I'm not actually going to fill this all out. If you were using this for real, you probably would want to. Along with adding an association would be a smart thing to do. Just some kind of depends on, some associate stuff with me item. And, that's kind of using the real traceability of Codebeamer, showing that you can add dependencies. So that's kind of the flow that you'd want to do if you were doing all of this manually. There's a couple things to think about if this is your plan of letting people just create all of this manually. First off being, who is going to be the people creating it? Because if somebody externally has some bug or some idea that they want to put a change request out there for, then you might need to have some kind of like floating licenses that you can say, here you go, come in here and add this change request. And then you also have to worry about what do you actually want to be accessible. These are a whole bunch of permissions that you'd want to configure, which could be a lot of extra work. One way to get around all of this would just be to create something external, such as a Google form, and have that hit the Codebeamer API and fill out that change requests tracker, automatically. So I'll kind of walk you through what I've done. We'll just new automatically created change request, a description, and we'll want to associate this with something, the associate stuff with me, for example. Submit. And now if we come back here and refresh, we'll see new automatically created change requests. So cool. Not all the fields are filled out. I didn't want to, add a whole bunch of random fields in here just for the purpose of demoing this to you. But yeah, as you can see, we've got all of this. We have the associate stuff with me thing depended on. And we'll have a status. And something else that's pretty cool that you can do is you could say, I am somebody internal. I see this come through and I decide, yes, this is something that I do want. I do want this change request. Let me accept that. So if you do this, you can see suspect flag went off. So that's a really cool feature that you can do with state transitions, where I've got a suspect flag saying, whoa, look, something has been changed, something is wrong, look at this item and make sure everything's okay. So that's a really cool ability that Codebeamer has. Moving on, we have this public field. Now this is not a default field. This is not only thing I've added, I did a couple tests, but this is the main thing that I've added that I did in order to let the API know which items I want to be accessible or not. So when I hit the API, I can search for the fields and I see, hey, this item has a public field and it is set to false. Therefore, in my form, do not show this item. Whereas if we go to the associate step with me, we can see public is true, do show this item. So yeah, that's a really cool thing that I've added in here. And even farther, it's not just these change requests that you have to set public to true to work. You could do an entirely new tracker. If I wanted to do this, new tracker, that should be good. Just a tracker, doesn't need to be perfect. And save. Now if we go to fields and I add this public field, I will show you that it should still show up on the form. So we'll have public, a title of public, and a description. We're going to want this to be a Boolean. And we'll just say OK to that and save. Now, if we go to that new tracker, we can see if I create a new item, is this visible? Visible. Description, and hit save. We'll need to set this public to true. And now, moment of truth. Well, I have to run this update dropdown function first. This is just basically grabbing everything, get public items, and then throw them in the dropdown. Which there's some more behind the scenes. It's got to pull from multiple APIs to check. But yeah, that's the quick rundown of what this is doing, and it is running on a cron job to where every hour it'll be updating this, checking for any public fields, and then updating the form. For the sake of time, let's not wait an hour. Let's just run this now. So this is running, execution completed. So now if I come back and refresh this, we should see, is this visible? Awesome, it showed up. So yeah, we've shown that you could create an entirely new tracker, and if you do some fancy stuff with the API, you can actually pull everything and check if it has a public field set on it, which is really cool. Yeah, so that was kind of my little example of how you could take some Google form or other external thing, use Codebeamer's API to create change requests and create associations, along with using state transitions to create suspect flags if needed. Yeah, thank you for joining me in this example. I'm TJ Thielen with Source Allies, and thank you for watching.